Okay, so we're here together again for another version of cookies that we're doing, but this is actually a candy that we make, and it's one of Jonathan's favorites. It's basically a toffee. And for that, you get in just simple ingredients. We just need some butter, some sugar, and some corn syrup, and a little bit of water, and that's what actually makes the toffee base. And once that is all set to temperature, we'll take it and put it on. I have a silicone tray that I use that basically allows it to cool. But right now we're going to take 1 cup of butter, and to that we're going to add 1 cup of sugar. Now what we're going to be using today is what's called a candy thermometer, and it's a little bit different than, say, like a meat thermometer. It's big, it's glass, has a big bobble at the end, and really we're going to get up to about 235 or 300, way up to here. So it's going to take quite a while, and it'll actually come out like the toffee caramel color when it's all said and done. Okay, to the sugar and the butter, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of cold water and 1 tablespoon of light corn syrup. So really simple ingredients. And this is kind of like your Heath bar, that kind of toffee. I use a nice heavy gauged pan because this does get extremely hot by the time it finishes cooking. And it does require you to stir throughout most of the process, only because you want to make sure that the sugars are constantly moving. And you can do this on a pretty high heat as well. I mean, I tend to cook it basically on almost a high, but you want to make sure too that you're not doing it too hot where it actually will splatter up and burn you. Now what I'm doing now is basically, it's almost called like the S stir. And you're basically going around the edges and creating almost like an S or a wavy kind of stroke in the middle. And this helps to turn things around. You can do it different directions if you want. This is basically the same stirring I use when I make my jam. As the sugar starts heating up to temperature, you'll start to see it become a little bit more thicker, and it'll almost where you can see the bottom of the pan as you're stirring. And that means you're getting to the point where it is probably over halfway there. But what we're looking for is like almost this color of my countertops is what the actual toffee will look like when it's all done. And you'll see that it goes from like that white creamy color, and you can see it starting to turn to a more browny golden color. And it kind of starts to begin to lose that foamy appearance. And I'm going to begin to check. And you don't want this to touch the sides, and you don't want it to touch the bottom. So you kind of have to hold it up a little bit and see where we are for a temperature. And there we are, 300. So we're going to have it, pull that over. Okay, so now that this is removed from the heat, it is very, very hot, so please be careful. I'm using my silicone base, and I'm just going to actually just dump it right on. This will start the cooling process. So what I'll do is I will actually take my silicone pan, and this is why I love it, and just kind of swoop it around, kind of making it so it's all about the same thickness. And then to this, I'm going to add about 6 ounces of chocolate chips. Now 6 ounces translates to probably about 3/4 of a cup, because your 8 ounces is your full cup. Do I measure? Normally I might. But it's just you're doing a layer of chocolate on top of the toffee. So if you have a little bit more, it's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. Now what I'm doing is I'm allowing that to cool. To melt the chocolate chips. Because what I'm going to do is I'm ultimately going to be spreading the chocolate chips into the layer of toffee. And you'll start to see the chocolate chips melting from the heat of the candy itself. This makes great gifts. If you have folks that you want to give something unique to, you can actually take this up, break it up a little bit, and then put it in like little bags with a ribbon. And you'll see that once the chocolate chips come to temperature, they basically just melt right down, and it allows you to spread the chocolate right on top of the layer of the candy. Now to this, we're going to add a layer of sliced almonds. You don't have to put the almonds on it. It's just basically what we do. And again, you're just sprinkling on top just to give it a layer of the nuts. And again, you do not have to use the nuts, or you can use any other toppings. Some people use crushed up candy cane. You can use a different variety of nut. It's all in what your preference is. Now this goes to cool. Probably take it a good couple hours out in the summer kitchen, and then we'll break it up later on and try a piece. Okay, so the toffee's all cooled. It's hardened, and basically I just take it and kind of snap it right on. This is why I love using this silicone base, because it's so flexible. And then I just take it and break up the pieces and stick them right in a container. It doesn't matter about size or shape, because all the little bits get eaten as well. Or you can use them on top of other cookies or desserts. And again, this makes a great gift, something unique. And there we are. There's our toffee, and it's all ready to go. Again, it's using a candy thermometer, and just being careful that you don't burn yourself, because the pan and the candy get really hot. And we hope you enjoy it, and happy baking.